Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show this evening as the one and only Southside and the legend. Yes, the legend that is Big Stevie. How we doing, gentlemen?
Aye, good Ox, good to be on the night. My big mucker as always, and your good self. I'll say good evening to the Trips on YouTube channel, Stephen and Dado. Say hello to them, and everybody else that's listening in this evening.
Evening, Stephen.
Good evening, boys. Welcome to the big station, serving the nation. It's Dream Team Wednesday. How are you, Trips? All right?
How come he comes into the studio, Southside, it costs us a fortune? Great time.
Oh, it was just like a charity. It was just like giving away to charity, wasn't it?
Right to reply?
Yes, of course.
Here a hat, scared badges and tapes. Here a colours.
So you're going to say cheesy meat rolls and spearmint chewing gum.
Don't talk to me about rolls. Don't talk to me about rolls.
Oh, that's right, aye. Oh,
I heard you when you cooked today. Was it an overnight stay or was that just a morning visit?
it was a flying visit, to be honest. It was a flying visit. My good friend says to me, well, since I'm standing with the rolls under my arms as I did giveaway, would you like to come up and I'll make you a couple of rolls? And I mean, I don't even think I turned the giraffe.
That's not quite true. I think he smelt the rolls, the sausage fell off a mile away.
Magic. Oh, well cooked, by the way, and a nice wee dab of red sauce. Oh, come on.
What were they biscuits?
Have you told him about the biscuits?
No, I've not. Keep it to yourself, Bingy. Keep it to yourself.
Oh, my God.
Was there chocolate on them?
Oh, different class. Honestly, these biscuits are, you would actually have them at your wedding. These biscuits are that good, eh? I'm telling you. Oh, the big, massive biscuits. Beautiful. Beautiful they were. Oh, man. And of course, see what was it for Oxy's ma? I'd have had a lot of them, man. She would keep an eye on me.
Yes. It was good to catch up with everybody. Right, okay. Look, Stevie, I've been on. Southside's been on. We've said our pieces up first, Southside.
Yep.
Yeah, so Stevie, I've not heard from you for Sunday. Here's your thoughts, and obviously the aftermath.
My thoughts are plain and simple. By the way, I wasn't in my usual seat Saturday, so I was in the enclosure and I had a cracking view of the Tifo. And I must say, a lot of people are, I mean, all of a sudden there's this big, everybody's going after Hedo, this is terrible, everybody's offended with this Tifo. Now, before I get to the football, I'm going to say this quickly, right? I've been at Parkhead, obviously, the last time there, but how many Tifos at Parkhead have we seen that have been party IRA statements? We hung out the flags of war, you name it, marching with O'Neill's men, and then there was the dolls that was hanging with the ropes around their neck and Suicide Awareness Week. Where was all the outrage then? Every week at Parkhead, every single game, home game, Palestinian flags, ETA flags, banners with something about the resistance. What's all that got to do with football? Every single week this is, and nothing's ever said. But the Rangers, the Union Bears do it one time, and all hell breaks loose. Everybody's offended. Now, I'm going to say this, and I mean this. See the guy that flung the bottle? Total idiot. Absolute idiot. The boy that flung the bottle. No time for that at all. The Tifo was great. It's time we put something out there to let them know we still don't like them. Right? So I have no problem with that. I have no problem with their Tifos either. They can put out and do what they want to do. I'm not offended by them. It's nothing more than I'd expect for them anyway. So the Tifo thing, I just can't get my head round how all of a sudden the media's went bananas. And this is what I think why the media went bananas and started mentioning the Tifo, is to deflect for the game. Because I think there was refereeing situations in that game where, I mean, Maid's no offside. He's just to the right hand side of the goal. He's not in the keeper's view. You try to tell me the keeper couldn't see Maida. 110% he could see Maida. That goal should never have stood in my eyes. That's all I'm going to say. The game, we had a good first half. We're unlucky we hitting the bar with a couple of heaters and stuff. Unlucky we getting the goal chopped off. Another big decision in the game again. It saved it. VAR saved them again. But look, it is what it is. I thought it petered out. The second half was them for a spell, us for a spell, and it just petered out. And by the end, when you look back, a draw, it is what it is, But okay, and then after the game, all you get is about this Tifo, the Tifo this, the Tifo that. Well done to the Union Bears. They put it out there, and I love the way they blended Souness into it and Rangers into it as well, because they've had ones that have just been straight to the point and a way worse than that, and nobody's ever said a word. And it's shocking how they're all upset and offended by that banner. It's a pity the shotgun wasn't loaded.
It was some picture, mate. It was some picture.
Oh, listen.
Southside was more impressed with the watch, mate. He was more impressed with the watch.
Aye, that's a Casio quartz. That's nearly your rubbish. By the way, I believe it was a photo as soon as when he was away with the Scotland team away back.
1982 World Cup, mate.
Aye, you could tell by the mullet, can't you? No grey in the mullet.
Yes, all right. I don't disagree with some of your sentiment about the outcry, mate. I think it is to deflect from Mr. Walsh's performance in the big decisions. Southside, I don't know if you see it the same.
Aye, 100%. That was just to deflect. Don't think there was anything wrong with it. The polls seemingly came to Tifo away. That must have been a laugh. There's no further action on that at all. There's been no offence committed or anything. It's a quote for Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, So, as it is. But for us, no, unfortunately, we didn't get the 3 points at the weekend. That was the only sort of downside to it. And I thought refereeing performances that we've talked about and seen, I thought it was poor again. But it is what it is. You've seen it all season. That's how they're at the top of the Fair Play League. Because referees are refusing to book them, even after it's fourth or fifth foul in a game. They're not even booking them for consistent fouling or anything like that. And it's been evident all season. So what you've seen in a performance for Walsh on Sunday is just what you would normally see from most weeks. And you've seen the extent of them as we've had them before with with Diamondi at Tannadice when they tell him he's not struck him and all that, but still refused it and sent him off and stuff like that. So I don't think he's very good, but he got the game, and I thought it was going to be between him and maybe Clancy, and they put Clancy as a fourth official and Frank Connor on the line. So aye, it is what it is.
That wasn't deliberate, was it?
Oh, surely no. No, that's not bit deliberate.
Crash is a question, yes or no?
Go on then.
Oh, as Rangers get refereed at a different level?
Well, can I answer it with thought? Yes or no, mate? Can I give you my honest answer?
Okay.
Right. I'm no one for getting caught on conspiracy theories and blaming referees for results. I've said that. I think that people have listened to this show for a long time. We've got enough problems with some of our passing, our goalkeeper not being able to catch the ball, and our strikers missing chances that cost us football matches without blaming officials. But when you look at that, and I said right away that the Hadji goal was offside because where we sit Southside, we got a good view out, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it wasn't the first time. I think our tactics are poor. Stoning offside with VAR now. That split decision or that split can then go against you and could potentially cost you a goal. That happened on Sunday. I never seen Maeda where he was standing in the game because I was watching the flow of the ball and I never caught it. I was too far away for the penalty incident with Haji to comment at the time. I thought to myself, well, the stand never erupted. When I seen both incidents back, and it was Monday night before I seen them back, mate. You can work that out any way you like, right? It was Monday night before I seen them back. One's a penalty and one's the goal shouldn't be chopped off, and Raskin's goal's offside. Yeah, so VAR gets that right, whether we like it or no. I would have gave a goal, just me. But the other two incidents, they've got wrong. So what I think they look for reasons, one to give decisions and one to give against decision, and that's what it looks like. And it's starting to stink because if you think I think Albert said last night, it's 7 goals we've chopped off against them in the last 2 seasons, mate. 7 goals, yeah. Some of them rightly like was pointed out Raskins, yeah. But there you go. So that's my answer between yes or no. Sorry about that, Stevie, but there's another biscuit out there if you want it.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah, Southside.
Aye, it's one, when you listen to, even when you look at the penalty at Easter Road that day that they gave, and I remember listening to Willie Collum on his VAR review, and he said, you can see how people would say it's not what it is, but the referee decided it was subjective. No, and he gave the penalty. I just looked at it when I watched it back, as you said at the time, Oxford we sit, but it was hard to tell, seen him going down. But when you see it, McGregor just takes him, fouls him from behind before he's even managed to kick the ball. The ball isn't, he's not even managed to do that. The ball's no moved to where it was. And there was other players round about him, maybe going to block or tackle. But McGregor's the one that commits a foul in the box. And I don't know how long they gave VAR at the game. It didn't. I don't even know if they looked at it in VAR. It was quick. But surely if it's something like that, you would take time to have a look at it and see if he actually fouled him and no took the ball, which he didn't. You can clearly see it when you watch the replays, but that is what it is, and they need to get it right. It was the same the other night. See, I've just quickly deviated and see the one last night that you seen in that game. Do you think that was a penalty? When the Barcelona player slid in, they showed an angle from behind the goal. It looks like he clearly took the ball first, but they still gave the penalty.
I've not seen it, mate, but I did see the one with Newcastle, and I think it was Brighton at the weekend, mate.
No, I've not seen that.
I didn't see the Newcastle ones. Somebody's were busy last night, you know. But aye. And what about the goal that was chopped off Southside?
The Raskin one?
No, the goal.
Either.
Oh, Maeda's. I thought he was going to flag offside. It meant VAR. I expected it to be offside because to me he was the only guy standing in the 6-yard box. He's not directly in front of him when you see it from behind the goal, but he's going to be in his eye line and he's there. The best thing that if Thing parries that ball out and Maeda's instantly going to print it out, he's going to put the flag up. So he's in an offside position. They'll say, is he interfering with play? Well, as once famously said, if you're not on the park, then if you're on the park, you're interfering with play at some point. I thought they would have flagged it for offside, but they haven't. And took a deflection, which I realised after that, for Shooter. But I just a pity Kelly didn't manage to parry it in any way, shape or form, because if he does, he's going to put it in his miles offside. So subjective, they'll say. It'll be interesting to hear how they'll probably talk about it in the VAR thing, and we'll hear what he's got to say, but he'll probably justify it by saying he's not really in his eye line.
All right, people know where people are looking though. That must be good, that VAR.
Well, boys, this is my take on it. I asked you, you have told me more or less, we're getting refereed at different. I think the referees have got an agenda against Rangers. I think they take turn about making big decisions against Rangers. I think most of them, when you look into their backgrounds, Clancy, Walsh, all these guys, all these different ones, look at their background. See the guy was in the VAR room at never gave us a penalty. He's a member of the Celtic Supporters Club. How can he be impartial? No, I think they've got an agenda against Rangers, and they're doing their very best to get Celtic up there to catch our trophy haul, and that's exactly what's happened all the years. The amount of big decisions in finals and the amount of goals that's been chopped off, and by the way, never ever forget Clancy giving Morelos a yellow card before he even hit the ground. By the way, his red card was out his back pocket before he even hit the ground, and that day he gave them big decisions, and we still won that day too. We still won, but see if you watch that game back, you'd swear that Clancy had a bookie line on. He tried everything in his power to influence that game. He's meant to referee the game, he's not meant to influence it. And trust me, there's got to be more big decisions like that next year again, because they're all out to help one club. They're cheats, and I'm saying it how it is. I'm calling them cheats. They're absolutely cheats. And as I said, look into every one of their backgrounds. What their families and where they come from and everything else. That listen, they support one club and they're helping one club, and there's none of them being impartial. None of them. Even some of the linesmen, I don't know their names off by heart, but there's a boy that's got the scar running about his head and all that. What some of the times that he flags and what he agrees, I've been saying this for a while now, and I'm telling you now, right now, there's an agenda against our club. And see if you don't think there is, by the way, you're getting the scans pulled right out of your head, let me tell you, because there is. We are getting refereed at a different level. And by the way, I'm not into all that. We know that before we even go in the park. We should be taking some of the decisions out the referees' hands. But I'm telling you right now, we're getting refereed at a different level. Don't be kidding. Don't be kidding with them.
Yes, all right. All right. Listen, I don't think you're alone in any thoughts, Stevie. I don't think you're alone. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to change the subject slightly, because I think we've all said our piece, and I think we're all singing off the same hymn sheet. Yeah? Yeah?
Aye, I'll do it.
Right.
Stevie,
just... Aye, help yourself, mate, help yourself. Stevie, just on the football, you said your bit. Who's Sean for you? Who was our main man, and who let you down on the day, mate?
Raskin, I think Raskin was my man in the match, I would say. Maybe not a lot of other people's choices, but I definitely thought he made some good saves. But I just thought some of his distribution, kicking the ball out, and he was a wee bit wonky donkey. But look, it was a funny game, wasn't it? It was even the crowd and all. It was a bit flat at times, wasn't it? With the two supports. But look, I'm just glad that it's been gone and done now. So what was that we took this season? 2 wins and a draw, 7 points out of possible 12.
Aye.
So just think if we tidied up against all the crap, all the so-called lesser teams, and we get our attitudes right and treated every game like a Celtic Rangers game, we could have been miles ahead of them, never mind them miles ahead of us, as we've took the 7 points out of that possible 12, they've got 5. So no, it's just a pity. And by the way, some of the decisions, I'll keep going back to it, we've been getting robbed here, there and everywhere. I mean, there's Southside talking about Edinburgh, then I was talking about the Cup final, League Cup final. You could go on and on and on. You really could. Some of the decisions have been woeful against us, man. And no really anybody in our board or anything will just say it how it is. Just say it how it is. Critique the game how you see it. I do it every week. You know, I mean, Raskin's goal was offside. No two ways about it, was offside. You can't lie or twist it and do what you're doing. But their goal, Maida, was in his eye line. Should have been called offside. Never.
Aye, all right, mate. Listen, these Raskin's playing well for us, but look, there's a wee story broke today, Southside. I don't know if you picked up that he had a talk about with TalkSport, etc., where and how this deal came about. I think it's going to be interesting. So we're going to play that, and then we're going to maybe change the subject and start looking forward to what's maybe happening after part and see if we pick up any snippets. So you two gentlemen all right with that?
Can I get another basket?
Aye. We need to open another packet.
You get 2 packets. You
know how much they cost?
By the way, I never took you for a weight roast, man.
No, Mark's expensive.
Off, I'm in the gun there. St. Michael's. Off. What's happened to you? Take it. I don't want this biscuit. Anybody want
it? Mate, you do.
Oh my goodness, beautiful.
Oh dear. Right, get yourself a mute. We're going to hear from a former chairman and one of the guys that will always owe. Whether you think they're right, wrong, got things right or wrong, we'll always owe them. Let's hear from Dave King.
South Africa. Dave, thank you so much for joining myself, Simon and Danny live on the show. Can you bring us up to date? What is the latest, and is this takeover happening? What can you tell me?
Jim, good morning. Yeah, look, I think that if I take you to the position as I see it right now, I would say that there's a probably 90% probability it will happen. You know, these discussions have been going on for a long time. About 6 months ago is the first time I chatted to Andrew to see if there was a basis of getting a deal done that would work for both parties. And while kind of along the way with any negotiations like these, there were times where it was probably touch and go. If you ask me where we are now in terms of legals being signed, in terms of the type of conditions precedent that still has to be fulfilled, I would certainly put it at above 90% right now.
90%. So it's close, Dave. You've been involved with the club for many years now. Rangers fans know what you've done for this football club. But what will it mean for you? Will this see you endure, 2 decades or more association with Rangers?
Yeah, I mean, Jim, I see this as a bit of I suppose, a legacy issue for me, if it might sound that grand. I did make a statement, I think probably around about last September, October, where, the club was clearly in trouble operationally and financially. And at that time, I kind of made an open offer, to come back, maybe spend 2 years to try and get the operational issues back on track, get the funding back on track. And in that time, to try and find new potential owners who could take the club forward, because I think it was clear, both with inside the club and outside the club, that the current shareholder directors had investment fatigue. And you certainly can't keep running a club like Rangers with a kind of cap-in-hand approach to funding. Every time you need £1 million or 2, you run around with a cap-in-hand to directors. That wasn't sustainable. And I think the fact that Rangers had fallen so far behind following 55, I just felt the gap was too big to bridge, just looking at local investment from the directors. So I started a project at that time to see if I could try and find someone who I could bring in who was substantial, who could take the club forward and make sure we didn't only have a football plan, but there was a financial plan behind it as well. Someone with deeper pockets, someone with sustainability in terms of funding. I was talking to the Saudis at that time, and then I got a call, I think around about October, from Paul Murray, in fact, that says, Dave, I'm aware you are looking to try and find investors. I've got these guys. I think they're the real deal. And he initially put me in touch with Andrew.
This is Andrew Kavanagh of 49ers.
We chatted, had a couple of initial meetings, and then I asked him the one question when a lot of these things fall apart, which is, can you give me proof of funds? And it was before I take this further, before I engage with other shareholders, before I engage with any of the board members, can you give me proof of funds that you have the cash available to not only buy out existing shareholders who, the other kind of weak shareholders who'd like to get out, but also enough to put new money into the club? And it was only once they'd satisfied me through their bankers. The amount of money I asked them for, I'm not going to disclose the figure, but it was very, very substantial. The amount of money I thought necessary to get this deal done and to fund the club for the next 2 years to bridge what I perceive to be the gap between us and our competition at the moment. And once they provided the proof of funds, we then started kind of serious negotiations where I started to talk to other shareholders, other directors, and see if we could package something that would allow them to come in and take control of the club. So it's taken 6 months to get to where we are. But if, again, to repeat what I said earlier, if I look at where we are legally, commercially, and with the kind of type of approvals required, as you know, you need fit and proper, you need SFA, etc., etc. I can't see anything that would stop the deal happening now.
Okay, Dave, here's Simon who's
Dave,
with me.
I mean, you talked about investment fatigue. I would also think there was an element of competency fatigue in some of the decisions that were being made by the existing Rangers board. When you get this new investment, this new ownership model coming in, what do you expect to happen? Because it's a slightly curious one. You've got this ownership model that's invested heavily in Leeds, that are now landing back in the Premier League. Do you think that advances the opportunity for Rangers, or in part might detract from it a little bit?
Look, I think that the situation regarding Leeds, as I understand it, it is not going to be a distraction from Rangers, from Rangers' perspective. But what I was looking for, as far as Rangers is concerned, was to try and get investors who, first of all, understood that there's no short-term fix here. I mean, I think we're back to the time where Stephen came in, when I first hired Stephen, where it was understood that significant cash was required, but it would take a number of windows. I don't look at our level of, say, transfer activity. I mean, I think it's been quite deplorable over the last number of seasons, and certainly as a supporter watching the games, I think we're way short of competing. So we needed to get an investor who could come in and have a proper financial plan. And when I say a proper financial plan, something where there was a commitment over a number of years, where the money would be available for a period of time, and that financial plan would include all of the operational issues, the player trading issues, because if I look at the club, it's been pretty much hollowed out in many of the areas that you would normally expect a club of Rangers to be operating at, in terms of, I think the academy has gone backwards. The player trading model that's been stressed so much has clearly not been working. I mean, it's obvious.
The reason I asked, Dave, was not necessarily the motivation of the ownership model coming in, because with all due respect, I want to be careful choosing my words, because I know the scale of the football club I'm talking about. But with Leeds landing back in the Premier League and the commercial revenues that are in the Premier League, is there a danger that Rangers could become a form of feeding club for a Premier League club that has huge aspirations? Their chairman's talking about being a dominant force in Europe. Is that a concern?
I don't think. I mean, I see the opposite perhaps as being the risk, and right. I may be being unkind to Leeds here, but I think the difference, which is understood by Andrew and the 49ers, that is, with Rangers you don't have the yo-yo risk that you always have with a club. No disrespect to Leeds. At least when they come into Rangers, they know if they make an investment, that European football is pretty much assured, and there's a reasonable level of certainty as to, let's say, how low Rangers can go. I think the situation is very different for Leeds United, and the type of investment required in England to maintain that, I think, can be challenging for any investor, no matter how substantial you are. Whereas if you look at Scotland, you look at the size of Scotland, I think the exposure that they will get as a club participating in I'm not saying a two-team league, but it's difficult to envisage Rangers or Celtic not being first or second. So European football in various stages will be there. And I think it's easier to put the financial plan to support the football plan in a club like Rangers than it is for someone like Leeds United, where I think it's a lot more challenging. And as exciting as it is for them to begin up to the Premier League, they're going to have a lot of financial budgeting decisions to make if they want to stay there.
I know how close you have been, Dave, to improving Rangers, to making Rangers a better football club now for many, many years. But as you know, and it will pain you to know it, that the gap between Rangers and Celtic is hugely significant now. So could this 49ers new ownership help redress the balance in your eyes?
I think so, because I think I've been fortunate enough to be involved in discussions with them directly, so I've got a sense of, because I asked them the question as well, when Paul Murray introduced them to me, is why Rangers? Why, I get your interest in the 49ers, you're expanding franchises. I see why football is a great business opportunity. We can see what you've done at Leeds United in the commercial revenue side. I can see that Rangers probably provides a better base to leverage that off for. But why are you interested in Rangers? It's not fashionable, it's Glasgow, it's not London. And I got all the right answers, that they understand the football business, they like the football business. and they would be in Rangers for the long haul. And the other thing I liked about speaking to them is that, you know, having been around the club for 20, 25 years, you know, David Murray and thereafter, I think there is a big disadvantage in clubs like Rangers where the board and the decision making is dominated by supporters. You know, you get this absolute, you know, doom, gloom where, you know, you lose a game at the weekend and there's this, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, and we need to sign players, we need to get rid of the manager. And then you win a game and all of a sudden everyone's on top of the world. I think they're going to be more calculated, more neutral. And I think their football plan and the financial plan that supports that will be far more robust, far more tangible, and will be able to ride through the bad times if there is a period of poor results. And I suspect that can happen because I'm now talking as a supporter. If I look at the quality of what Rangers have got on the field, you know, I don't think we're 2 or 3 players away from challenging for the league title. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more than that has to come in if we're going to have a financial plan to support the football plan.
So behind the scenes then, Dave, would the 49ers come in with a new broom and sweep clean?
Yeah, I think part of the deal, I mean, I made kind of 2 things clear to them in terms of not only my willingness to allow my shares to be sold to them, which was the anchor shareholding, but that I wouldn't do that unless I was sure that there was a level of new funds available to take the club forward. And I didn't want a situation where, say, I exited and people say, well, that was good for King, but now the club's in the same situation. Therefore, I had a linked situation, which was, I'll help you put together the core value of investors that gets you to a certain percentage, and then the rest must come from new money getting into the club. I gave them an estimate as to what I thought was required, which was fairly substantial. And we managed to get a meeting of the minds on that, where through this combination of existing shareholders selling their shares plus a rights issue to put money into the club, that I feel that they've made the right level of commitment, that I feel that I'm comfortable enough to say to supporters, as a supporter, I strongly support this investment into the club.
And finally, Dave, I don't think it's unfair of me to ask you, do you see the 49ers making those funds available to Barry Ferguson, or will it be somebody else?
You know, I'm not sure the extent to which they're applying their mind to the manager situation right now. There's still a few things to be done. There's, I say, conditions precedent. There's approval from various leagues, the SFA, the SPA. You know, there's still some conditions precedent to be done to get the deal across the line. And yes, while they will be looking at what they have to do, because they will have to hit the ground running quite quickly, because we've got Champions League qualifiers, you know, coming up. Let's say that this deal realistically happens, say mid-June. I think May is not possible, but let's say mid-June is realistic, and they're firmly sitting now in the seat. That doesn't give them a lot of time, you know, to kind of start to get some business done and prepare us for Champions League qualifiers. So I'm sure they'll be looking at that. But as far as who the actual manager will be and who they're looking at, I've got no idea whatsoever.
You're looking at mid-June. Enough of all that, Mr. King. How's your golf?
Well, I missed a 10-foot putt in the 18th to lose the game 1-up, but it was a beautiful autumn summer morning here in Johannesburg. So we had a lovely game, beautiful weather, beautiful golf course. So I'm enjoying it and looking forward to going over to Scotland again in July.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. Obviously, the timeline is a wee bit later than we were hoping, but as long as things get moving, the players would...
So he made the timing perfect. July's coming up. July coming up.
Say that again?
It's coming over in July.
Mid-July.
It's a wee bit late, isn't it, according to what you just said there. Mid-June. If he's got the timeline correct.
But I think there was a lot of positives in that story, or on that interview, Southside.
Aye, there was a lot of stuff that he said that we weren't privy to, obviously, and Dave, from time to time, will come out and give you a statement and stuff, and obviously, having the shareholding he had, he was one of the people that we definitely have to talk to, and it sounds like he's the guy that took it back to the rest of the directors. And he spoke well and wanted to see they've got the right credentials, and he's saying to him these will be the right people to take us forward, in his opinion.
Is some of that got you thinking, yes, let's go?
Still always wary when we're getting away the whole lot of the club. We fought long and hard to get it back, but the investors, the directors at that time, Dave Kingled and Three Bears and everybody else, done what they could to this point with the club. And to be honest, I've put a lot of money in. We've just squandered it, and people know being able to come to their work, and we've changed manager after manager and stuff. Auction it doesn't help styles, and we've not had the right people in the positions. For even Mark Allen, Ross Wilson. Now we've got a sporting director in now. Now we've got a CEO in that knows the job. So we've sort of ran it. The directors put the money in, but structurally we weren't right for management styles and recruiting players, as Michael Beale got to run a riot himself because we didn't have the right structure in place. So we could have done better because they did put money in, but we just changed manager and everything else, and more players either stayed too long or when they come in, they've not been there regular enough and played enough games that we've spoke about. And this is sort of new. We're hoping that they're going to bring a bit of professionalism in and how to run the business side there. And hopefully Thelwell and we get the new manager in, they'll be able to then put the right players on the park with a style that we will all see. Because you need to have a style of football. And that's what we need to do. So that needs to be set out. And then we can go. Aye, and let's go.
Getting back to the interview, I mean, only time will tell. I mean, you've got best case, worst case scenario. So we'll see where it takes us. There's some things please me. The proof of funding for going forward as well. I'm happy with that. But listen, Southside and Big Stevie's back with shortly, but it's not just about having money, it's about spending it smartly in it and getting better value. We've not get value for a lot.
Well, I was going to say that. They can come in, we could, just for talking's sake, we could have £50 million over 2 years, just for talking's sake. But if you just don't go and get the right players in that will play in a regular and we make into better players, hopefully, going forward, well, no matter. If you're not successful in the park, it won't matter. So that's the biggest thing. And I think once we get a manager, I don't know whether the structure and the philosophy should come through director of football, and this is the style we're going to play. And then you go and get a manager that plays that style of football. I think when you do the chopping and changing all the time, this is where you get players get set into playing away, and then look at what Barry's done the last wee while. We said I'm changing to a back five and we're playing a back four, and you've seen it, So you need to have a structure. Auction managers who normally stick by their philosophy. It's good they've showed them proof of funds. It's good that he's had conversations with them. I'm sure they'll have dealt with what's expected, expectations at the club and all that. They'll come in, and I think they'll do a professional job in the club. Might not do everything we like at the one time, but at the end of the day, if they're going to take over, then hopefully if they put the funds up, the manager gets the right players, and then it'll work on the park. And if it works on the park, it helps everything else after the park, doesn't it?
Aye, did you pick up on the thing that he mentioned about the Saudis?
Aye, it was just aye. I thought when he said that, I was saying to myself, did he just say that?
I'm understanding that was Sheikh Mahon.
Aye, no bad. But I heard them saying that and all. It just glossed over, didn't it?
Might not be away, mate. Might be coming in with a share issue. Yeah?
That looks like it, aye. And they'll probably have investors out there that they know is going to invest into the club. And anybody else that gets a chance to. I'm sure Bridge will take a few. I'm sure Bridge will put a few quid in box.
Well, there's people maybe get grandkids now that never had them before. Could maybe buy some for them.
That's true, aye. You can always do that.
Aye.
But you need to invest.
How long he's taking, mate. Or he biscuit, innit?
Aye, I know. It's terrible behaviour.
Behave yourselves.
You got to say you ran out of toilet paper.
Stephen, did you pick up Mr. King there?
Listen, he sounds delighted with it. He sounds pretty confident with it, and look, I'm a bit like Southside. It's when you're handing the keys out to somebody that's not usually in your circles, you're a wee bit, you know what I mean, you're pausing, no, you're like, we're doing the right thing here. But look, Dave King and all these guys and John Gilligan and that, they're all happy with the way it's going to work out. So, listen, it's trial and error, innit? Just let's see where it takes us. Let's get behind them. If they're going to spend a few quid, mate, every year, get better players in the park, and we start getting winning ways again, then, well, that's all that matters, isn't it, really?
That's about results, mate. It's about results. It's as simple as that. What we can talk about performances and style and patterns of play, Southside, it's about results,
Aye, it's always about results, you're right. But you do need a structure and a style of play. And as I keep saying, no many managers will change it, and we'll be sitting having this debate next year once it's happening. People go, I should have done this and done that. He'll set out a style. If he's a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1 or whatever he's going to do, we'll find out. And then obviously we'll be looking at where we get the players that he needs to fit the system. I mean, if you look at it, Ox, right, Clement gets slaughtered, right? And my wee pal sent us a stat, and he says to me, look, since Barry's took over, we have conceded more and we've not created as many chances as we did under Clement. And he says, and probably down to the fact he's changing formations and tactics and all that, everything about. But that was just what he said. So we've not got any better. We've maybe had one or two good results, but we've not got any better. When you're looking at we're losing more goals and we're not even creating as many chances.
I think to the naked eye, mate, Ibrox, we haven't played well since Barry came in. And even in the two European ties, second one will got them some slack, on the group some slack. I mean, the early sending half affected the whole tie, and we were pleased with the endeavour and the character of the players that evening. But take that out, they've been great Ibrox, mate, since Barry came in. It's flipped completely, Stevie. The away forums, all right. Yeah. The home forums turned into, which wasn't a problem. And if we're honest, mate, we ain't recovered mentally since that Queen's Park result, because it's just the wheels have come off.
Yep. Listen, it's, you said 360, it's just completely flipped, done it? So, I mean, we're robbing Peter to get to Paul, basically. That's it. Your away forums get better and your home forums get worse. So, to that end, listen, I mean, am I not right in saying that we've already been kind of told it's not going to be anybody that's already managed the club? Was that not said somewhere?
I think that's pure. You're hearing all sorts of stories, mate, and that's one of them that's been out there, mate, without any substance behind it. Only time will tell, mate.
Look, it is what it is, man, innit? So, look, I like Barry Ferguson. There's no two ways about it. I like him. He's a good stock, but is he the guy you want for a new era? I don't know. And then I'm saying to myself, well, who is coming in? So, until we find out who it is, then you'll know whether, everybody individually got who they would want. So then I would say, right, stack him up against Barry, who you want to be. Listen, everybody's going to be swirling. It's going to be different. But look, no matter who takes it under the new era, we all need to get behind them. We all need to galvanise the crowd, the players, the board. We all need to get together and go at this for sale this year, and all together, and let's get it done. Buy the tickets, buy the merch. Let's get behind the club.
Also gives people who we're always saying this is it. If there is a share issue, you know, people who can't, maybe who would like to get involved, it gives them an opportunity to be part of the club. You become a shareholder. There's the fans groups, there's the your sales. If they go up, they go down. You can sell them if you need the money, etc. So if they go up, you've got more money than you started with. Obviously, shares can go down as well. But people to get involved, I think I would go again, Southside, if I'm honest, mate. Go again.
Aye, they're looking for them for when they come in. They were looking at some point that they'll make it good and the share price will go up. I don't think I'd actually want to sell them anyway, to be perfectly honest. It's just a thing you do in it, and you want to keep them. But for people that maybe want to buy and maybe sell at some point, then obviously when you've got a state like Dave King and that had and Dougie Park and stuff like that, obviously they'd like the share price to be quite high. But it is for the ones that are selling at the moment. But aye, they're going to do it, and if there's people out there that want to go in and get some shares in that, then they'll have a chance. And I think a lot of them, they'll probably have, I think the Americans will probably have some of them already be in the process of getting took once they're getting issued. There'll be so many, I think, because they'll be looking to get the funds in early, won't they? And the money and people will be sitting in the wings to take some.
Yeah, I think so. But it's going to be interesting. See how it pans out. And obviously, the supporters will. It's always going to cost supporters money. It's an emotional tie, mate. But I know, I appreciate and I know everybody's got the spare cash. You know, we get that. We get that with the games. We get that with life in general, you know. People have their trials and tribulations through life. It's going to be interesting. One of the other things I found interesting, how honest he was about the team. Southside then, Stevie.
Aye, he said there wasn't a lot there. We need a lot more than 3 players, and I think we all know that 3 players into that squad for the start of next season wouldn't matter. We need more than that, as we've spoke about. We need 3 in defence straight away before you even consider getting into midfield or into forward line position. So, he's honest about it because it's not good enough. He's a supporter as well as had a big stake in the club. So, no, it hasn't been good enough, folks, but there'll still be players there that will keep, and the new manager will work with some of them, and they might get them to play better going forward, or maybe play more consistent as well. So, time will tell, but there'll be a big clear out, but there'll still be at least a skeleton squad of about 6 or 7 that are playing May Speaks at the moment. It'll still be there, I believe.
Stevie, your take on it?
Aye, listen, I think we all know we need more than 1 or 2 or 3 players, you know what I mean? We need to get the pool a wee bit stronger. I've already stated people in that team that it shouldn't be there next season. You know, whether it's hard to get rid of them or no, it's just people that I think has got to go. They're not going to be good enough, they're not strong enough, they're not mentally strong enough, and they're not going to do any good for our team next season. You know, and Dave King's, you know, he's been just as honest as we are, but we need I'm looking at, you're probably looking at 7 or 8 players. That's how I see it. Whether you're going to get 7 or 8 players is another thing. Whether you're going to have to get, maybe they'll bring in 2 or 3, but you need to sell some to get some more players. I don't know how they're going to work it, but that pool definitely needs strengthened. That I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. They're not strong enough, they're not mental enough, and they're not physical enough for the Scottish game. I'm sick of teams like St Mirren this season. Bullied us off the park. Bullied us. St Mirren.
I think we're starting points are going 2 centre halves, mate. I really do. Obviously, Balogun will go. Cropper's not going to cut it, and it depends if you can get him a deal to go back to Holland. So then you're left with Suter and the Salah. That's all you've got, mate. I don't know what the deal will be with Casemiro, and we don't know when Sterling's going to be fit. So you're left with 2 centre halves, and you'll know through qualifying, never mind a campaign, a league campaign, etc., with just the two. So unless he wants to promote for youth, I think we need minimum 2 centre-halves and a goalkeeper, and that's my starter for 10, mate. And when I say starter for 10, it's literally 10 first teamers. I think we need, in my opinion, Southside.
And we need starters into the team.
As starters, no project.
I mean, I don't know if we've Copton and Thelwell, we've been at Everton and stuff, and maybe if you're tapping into people keeps, I'm not even about to mention Leeds because it's no, I'm not even interested. It's what Thelwell and for me and what Copton's got in the book, and if we've got maybe players that are cut off, came at the end of their contracts, we were no paying fees to, and depending on how much salary we're going to pay them with the FFP rules and whatnot, we might be able to attract them and give them a sort of decent wage. But they need to hit the ground running, they need to be playing, and they need to be starting every week, and they need to make an influence, they need to be better than what we've got. And so the recruitment is going to be tight if the deal doesn't get through too late and we're trying to get the manager in. I dare say that we can still get appointed, but it's going to be a turnaround quick of players. And we need to get in, get a pre-season done. So it's going to be a lot in a short space of time, and it'll be a big ask probably when it comes to the first thing. That's why probably most of the squad we've got to now, like a shooter, you have to maybe even to have, depending on somebody like the three, if Raskin and Diamondi's there, still there, they two plus Ignaman, say, I'm not even bother with any of the rest of them. I know we've got Cortez and the young boys not, but that alone might be a sort of starting. That might be a start of your team if we don't get a good turnaround of players in and get them up to speed. So I don't know how quick they're going to be in the transfer market, but it's going to be a quick turnaround for us. It should be interesting, but it's going to be a short space of time, and something you have to have preparation. I know we'll have a camp to go, and that's all pre-arranged, but manager and getting the players in is going to be really crucial.
I would argue that the manager's a key personnel in your club. He doesn't put the ball in the net, but he maybe helps who you buy, and he helps set up the tactics, etc. He helps pick the team. He carries a can for picking the team. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting, hopefully, Stevie.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Listen, exciting times for me. The biggest signing of them all is the manager, mate. If they get the manager right and players want to play for him, listen, that's what we want. You want them to have the bit between their teeth and want to go out and fight and die for the manager and galvanise that whole squad and get them into a different way of thinking. I mean, that's going to be the biggest signing for me. The manager will be very, very interesting who the manager is. Once he's in and we see who he is, then you can start your, unwrapping your presents. You could say, well, he's a possibility to come. He knows him. He knows that league. He knows, what I mean? That's when you start, your mind wanders away for you, But the big one for me is the manager, mate, and how much the manager's going to get, he spend. But our squad does need a bit of, it needs a bit of DIY, doesn't it, really? But exciting, very exciting. Listen, can I ask a wee question? What about revenue streams? Do you think they'll rename Edmiston House or something like that? Something down the lines?
There was a strong rumour about the stadium being having naming rights. Well, I used to, gentlemen. Would that upset you too?
Me personally, I'm a traditionalist. I like Rangers tradition. Ibrox is Ibrox, and it shouldn't be anything else. That's why I'm saying about Edmiston House. But I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I know. See the strip with the Red Bull thing on it? I got some strip, by the way.
Aye, it gives you wings. So, what are you about?
I used to be against it. I know, but I get that football stadiums change, or some of them down in England and all that. They're changing all the time, every few years. If it's a revenue stream, then I don't mind now. I mean, but I prefer if they didn't. If they want to rename Auchenhowie in Edmondson House, they can do that. But if it comes to it and it's Ibrox and it's a big brand or whatever, then I understand it, but it's still Ibrox. But I was always against it, Ox, to be honest.
Nah, the only way I would change it if it was going to be orange. The future's bright, the future's orange.
I get that, Stevie. I get that. Would you accept the Red Bull Stadium, mate?
No,
Red
maybe,
Bull Arena.
maybe iProd. Do you see what I done there?
Oh, we did, mate. We did. Look, he's laughing at his own jokes outside.
Oh,
Right.
I know.
It's all right, sugar.
oh, magic.
You know, but listen, I don't disagree with you two gentlemen. I mean, I've been, you know, we're a special club, a special place. How you call it Ibrox? You see, I'm going to meet my pals at Ibrox. I'm going to Ibrox to watch a game. That'll no change.
Iconic, Ox, iconic brings to mind. You don't want to disturb that. That's things you don't disturb. Ibrox is iconic stadium, well known in Europe with all the travelling fans and everything else. It's something else. A listed building, 5-star. You know, you don't touch anything like that. That's unique. You just do not get near anything like that. That would do my scorn if I tried that. You know.
Gerrard wanted to change the dressing room a bit and make into the lockers they had at Anfield. And they get dealt no in the dressing room. They weren't doing that. I know he done a lot of good. At Auchenhowie and stuff. Made a lot of changes, but you can't change the dressing room. You know, it's got to stay the way it is.
Tradition, mate, I get that. But if I'll put a figure out there, Stevie. It was 40. It was X amount of years. And it was 40 million up front. Would that change your mind?
No. I don't think any kind of money would change my mind. Ibrox is unique. It's our happy place. The memories I've had there, and I don't want to change that.
Same memories, mate.
No, I know that, mate. No, I wouldn't do it. No.
Man of principle. What did we get him for Southside? A man of principle.
Maybe if he'd went 50, he might have changed his mind.
50-50 and changed his mind.
The last 6 bottle openers will change my mind.
You any left?
Aye, 6. No bad.
No bad when you walked in with a bag of 6,000.
Oh, it was pure raging, by the way. Somebody gave me a peseta or something like that. No, it was a euro.
Sorry about that.
I was absolutely raging. It was one of yous. I'll find out who it was.
Southside, if the door was right, what you said?
Nothing.
It's not going to matter what we think, is it? No, it's no. If the money comes in and that's what they want today and it injects more money into the club, puts the revenue up, it's allowed to spend more money, then it's a no-brainer, isn't it? That's what they'll do. So, no matter what we say or what we think, they'll do what they think's best in their eyes. And if it generates cash, then that's what they'll do.
I just want to touch on a point that Mr. Fox has made quickly, but we'll come after the tune. But it's about recruitment and how we spend our money. Interesting thing I want to get used to take on it. Right, get yourself a mute, chaps, because we're going to have a tune. Stevie, help yourself to the biscuits. Take it away, old school boy.
Down the Paisley Road, the west, the doors and the windows open wide. You will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. for we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. As we go marching down the Paisley Road West, the doors and the windows open wide, you will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. What the point that Mr. Fox we're going to have X amount to spend, he's not speculating the amount. How do you spend it? Do you go for transfer fees, or do you go with a bigger wage and get players that are out of contract? What would be your strategy? Southside.
I think if they're good enough, and we know the type of player we want to bring to the club, then aye, you can go and do that. What wage to get, I don't know. Because you want to maybe sell them on. If you're going at the top of the range bracket, maybe think with more experience, like a 27, 28, 29-year-old, and give them a 3-year deal. And then I don't know what a wage bracket you'd bring, because you might probably have a resale value unless he does wonders in Europe and Scotland and somebody wants to come in and buy him, even though he's a bit older. I would go, and talk about older player, I would just go and get Shankland. I would just go and get him. He's out of contract, and you'll only need to pay him that big wage. And he'd be a starting point for me. Somebody that knows the league, scores goals, scored 2 at the weekend, played up front, and you don't lose the knack of scoring goals. So we need to win a league. We need somebody that scores goals, run about the box, sometimes scores wonder goals outside the box, like we've seen he's capable of. And he'll probably take penalties, so always adds to the goals. So he'd be my first one. And I'm not caring what anybody else says. I believe he scores goals in a Rangers team going forward in the league where we play in, where we need to win and compete in and win cups. It's a no-brainer for me.
Is that because he's out of contract? Would you have spent 3 months?
He's out of contract, aye.
Is that
aye, we're having to. Aye, of course it will be. And listen, he'll probably attract other clubs, you know. But I would go and get him. Just for the fact is, I believe that he'll score goals in a Rangers jersey, and somebody we need a penalty box striker and all. He can hold the ball up. He's intelligent. I don't think he'd need to come back pre-season with about a stone off, mind you, because he looks a bit overweight to me. But I just think he knows where the goal is, and it's something that we struggle on. And I think now that he's out of contract, he's experienced player. I think we could get a good offer him a 3-year deal or something, a 2-year with a year extension or something. And I think he would score goals in the league.
All right, mate. All right. Stevie?
No more projects for me if you're spending it. Where do you spend it? Listen, I just want a bit of iron in the team. I just think our boys this season have been too nice. They've been bullied. I just think we need to go out there and get a wee bit of iron. I mean, people, we're talking about how our manager's going to set up and all that earlier on. I mean, most places we go to, they play the low block. You can't get to play football. So you need to get a bit of iron in there. If you're flinging high balls in, we need somebody that's going to attack them, take everybody with them. Somebody like Mark Haley, but I know they cost money. But we do need somebody where it's going to fling it about a wee bit, man. And, you know what I mean? See, I mean, somebody said to me, Stevie, we should get in and buy some of the best of Scotland, the Scottish game. You get them for peanuts. Get them £1 million a player, half that, you know. So even if you get 6 players out of 6 different teams, the best of the teams pick their players. For instance, Simon Murray, would you take a punt on him for 12 months? What would you get him for? You know, he's scored many goals this season. He flings it about. Whether they can do it consistently or no is another thing. But listen,
He's been a boy. He's been a boy that we've looked at. You know, we've talked about guys like him. Have you missed out? I think he might. I'm not sure what age Simon is. He's been about and he went down south and come back and ended up there. You know, there's gems out there if you get them at the right time in Scotland. I've said it before on here and I'll say it again. I didn't mind when Rangers signed Scott Wright. You're going to have a punt sometimes, Southside and local talent, see if it works out. Yeah, I know the argument is that you're maybe giving money to our rivals, so-called rivals. But I don't mind taking a punt and it doesn't work out because it's only a punt. You're not doing all your budget. There's a time for both. There's a time to go and try and sign the established stars. There's a time to sign projects. There's time to take a punt. 3 different things, in my opinion. At this point, we need established stars. We need first-timers. Starters for 10. No pun intended. Yeah.
We need fighters.
Aye.
Aye.
Probably players like Journey's skill level, you know, but he's got pace, power and pace if he's playing on the wing, but got his ability because he is a good technical player. Journey, let's not be kidded. He's not going to go in and win headers, and he's not going to go in and make many tackles. But on the ball, he's got a good pass, he's got good vision, he can make things happen. He's had a really good season to a point. Players like that, and at his age probably, and might have been in other places, won a league title here or there or whatever. But projects, I think we've got enough round about the team, and we've got the young boys that you want to maybe make their projects. I guarantee we'll probably buy a few younger ones, maybe somebody 20, 21, 22, but I'd like to think we'll maybe get players maybe in the 25, 26, 27 years of age that'll play a good, decent level of football, international maybe even, and we're picking them up, giving them a decent wage, and they want to come here and play, and it drives the standards. Because the nucleus of the boys that are going to go forward, they're the ones that should be driving the standards for the start for next season, but we know they don't all do it, so, but we need to look and get better. And if we get money in for Raskin or Diamondi, if somebody comes in and buys them, then fair enough, just take the money if it's good money, reinvest it into the squad. And that's what we need to do, but if no, hopefully they'll be part of a squad going forward next season that have been there now and know what it's about, and hopefully they'll pass that on to the new players coming in. But time will tell.
Aye, it's going to be really interesting on and off the park the next few weeks, Stevie. It's never going to come quick enough for us as supporters. You know, we want it all done and dusted and everybody happy, and then we want to be going out and signing 2 players a day for 2 weeks, you know. But it's not going to happen like that. It's not going to. It never does go perfect, but things seem to be moving to a climax, and I know you're a climax expert, Stevie.
I seen what you done there, aye. Listen, for me, once you get your manager in, I think things will happen quick. You've already got a guy in there, a football director, haven't you? So he'll already be looking at things and eyeing up certain markets and stuff like that. So I think once the manager comes in, I think they'll sit down, they'll align, and then they'll go with their checkbook and let's see if they can go and get who they need. I can't wait, Ox. I really can't wait. I think this year's going to be a brilliant year for it to be a bear. you know. So just fingers, toes crossed. Let's just get out there, get the season tickets bought as we have done again, and hoover up all the tickets and see where it takes us. No, I can't wait, man. Look, put it this way, it can't be any worse than this season, can it? We've got to beat them.
No, you're right, it couldn't be, mate. Aye, listen, it's time Southside, and obviously the timeline that Dave King mentioned wasn't as quick as we'd hoped to support us, but as what it is. By the way, the other point on that, and back to the Southside, all money being involved behind the scenes and try to work for the club. Interesting, eh?
Aye, they've always sort of been together from time to time, him and Dave King, you know, at Ibrox, and it's obviously, it's interesting to hear his name getting mentioned, because I thought, you remember him from back in the day, but that was it. But he's obviously still working away, and I don't know if he was here in America or whatever, but he's got the contact and he's gave it to Dave King, and at the end of the day this one might work out, which it sounds as if it's going to, so it just depends.
Aye. You can't take it away from him, what he's trying to do, and he's got involved, he's put his own money in, and put money into the academy, mate. These guys, look, they've made mistakes, every one of them. We all make mistakes. And like, I know you two gentlemen haven't made any mistakes. But no since Monday, maybe. But we all make mistakes in hindsight, and pointing people, trusting people, getting it right. You know, every one of us have done it. They've done it. They trusted Michael Beale. He said, I can do all these jobs. I've got experience. I can do it. Well, and they pan out like that, did it? And we paid a heavy price because you get the recruitment wrong. I'm not saying every player at our club is no work's done to Michael Beale in that timing, but it's a big percentage if they got it wrong. And once you do that, if you have a bad couple of transfer windows, it's hard to unpick, Stevie, because people will be on decent salaries, you're not playing them, and you want to get rid of them.
Listen, you've been talking about this for years. You know, people want rid of certain players and their own contracts. And the Michael Beale thing did come back and bite us in the butt, mate. There's no two ways about it. We're still suffering because of it. You know, the mismanagement as well. Players that could have been out the door for 10 million quid, running their contracts down and getting nothing for them. Your Morellises and people like that. You know, Kent, guys like that. You know, it's just... see, when you look back, man, you could get angry about it. You really could get angry about it. But look, we're going to have a new era. We're going to have a wee war chest. We're going to have a new manager. We all just need to go on board with it. Roll our sleeves up, dig our heels in, and see where it takes us. Plain and simple as that.
Getting back to the Morellis, was that the point that Dave King was making? You make decisions, and you make them as fans, you can get it right. Because as fans, you want to keep your best players. Southside, you always want to. You've never got enough players. You want to sign this, you want to sign that. But if they've not got that emotional attachment, is it easier for them to make difficult and right calls? It's time to sell them. Let's get rid. Yeah.
Aye, it probably is for that point of view. I believe, and obviously the manager is always wanting to keep his best players, and that's the only one that I really remember. I don't think we ever really had any solid money on the table at all at any time for Ryan Kent. I believe there was the offer could come in for Lille. Was it Lille offered it, I think, at the time? Around about 14 million euros or something for Alfie. And I think they wanted more. So, but I don't really think anybody else came in really any time for any of our players. We just got to the point where we went stale. We know try to either say sign a new contract or get rid of them in the time we should have. But Gerrard was building a team back then. Beale, as you said, came in and got the keys in with no structure in the background to see what was happening. Nobody checking the contracts, looking at players. So, sporting director, we done away with that, left that for a while, which was probably wrong because we went back to it. So, and there's going to be a strategy, and they're going to be more professional, I think. Come in, they're used to doing things like this in the background. They've learned, any one of them are doing it at Leeds. I've learned the football inside it since I've come in. And they know all you have to do is get back to winning in Scotland. That's all they have to do. It's a 2-team league. So it's an easier gig for them, you would think. And it's just about getting the structure in place, which is starting. Foundations are going in. It's just critically the manager, and then the players that you're going to recruit. That's what you've got to get right. And if you can get that right, you should get success.
If it was only that easy, getting the right players in, you know, I'm not even talking about getting them out this time, Stevie. Getting them in is not as easy as you think, you know.
No, of course it's not. Listen, we've no option. We've got to get this right this time. Just don't be. Well, look, I'm hoping that behind the scenes we're sitting down looking at our options as a manager. We need to get that appointment right. That's key. That's very, very key to moving forward next season. And especially if these boys are going to give them a wee pot of gold here to go and spend, we've got to get the manager right, mate. We don't rush. We do the interviews, we see what's best, and hopefully the gamble pays off. Because it's a gamble. You know, that's what it is. No matter who the manager is, no matter what players come in, I'm getting behind them anyway. It's the only thing we can do, Ox. It's the only thing we can do. Everything's got to be a gamble, and we'll just hope it all clicks, all aligns, and we do the business. But let's be honest. I say, listen, Ox, let's be honest. As much as I'm saying all that, as I said earlier on, we're still going to get dodgy decisions against us next season. And this is where we really need to stop giving referees decisions to make and stuff like that in games. We've got to be on it every single game as a cup final. We know before we go in the park, everything's against us, everything. So we've got to make sure we get there and treat every game as a life and death scenario.
Yeah, the first game of the season is important as the one that clinches is the league, because without that, mate, don't get the other ones. And I think sometimes we've been too lax in our build-up and we come in undercooked. And it's no criticism, so said, it's an observation. There's been some of this pre-seasons, etc., have been abysmal.
Aye. They have. I think the only one good sort of pre-season I remember was when Gerrard went to the Leon tournament, and we won that, I think, and then went on to win the league. But pre-seasons I don't even really like going to them unless they're in a away game. It's better just to play teams that are rotten, mate, and just get the team winning, get their strikers scoring goals. It doesn't matter whether you're expected to win or no. You get your goal scorers, your strikers that have came to the club on the score sheet. So they're not going into the season. And they might have only scored one pre-season or no hit the net at all, and maybe 2 games or 3 games because they're changing them about and whatnot. You want to get more confident. So for me, I just think pre-season is critical. But I'd hope the manager, probably not happen until towards the end of the season. But I think if the deal's getting done and it is even mid-June, we're going to have a manager named before the end of this season, or on the last day of the season, next day after the game against Tibbs, which is only a week on Sunday away. We'll need to have a manager named Ox. I believe that will have to happen.
Very interesting, mate. I think to give the manager the best opportunity, you go and get him in sooner rather than later. But it might not be possible. But watch this space. I think it could be. Oh, I'm not saying I think. I'm thinking out loud when I say this, Stevie. I think it could happen, but it's outside the timeline. To give the guy the best chance of getting after a good start. You know, he's got to look what he's got, what he can get, and what his budget is. You know. Stevie?
Aye, Ox. Aye, I mean, listen, you're wanting, I know, but we're not wanting to rush the appointment, right? But once he's in, you're wanting to get the players in so we can get a good pre-season, the players get to know each other, we get a certain mentality run about us, we're all, make sure we're all singing off the one hymn page. Listen, things will probably happen faster than what we think. What do you think, Southside? Do you think we'll have everything done pre-season, ready to go?
I think it's not. No, I don't really. I think
No.
because listen, the 1st of June contracts expire, right? So 1st of June, we need to have a manager. By the end of June, they're back in. We're playing our first qualifier in the Champions League the 21st or the 22nd of July. That's when the qualifier is. So you're going to have the manager in. They'll go away. The players will only get, 4 weeks? If we're lucky, when the season finishes. I think there's a Daft Scotland game getting played in June, which means Suter would probably get picked for it or something mad like that, maybe even Barron. So he might even have a game to play in June. But apart from that, it's back in quickly, and then you'll be away in your pre-season, and then it's straight into, you'll only have another 10 days or something, and then it'll be straight into your qualifier. So I think it's tight, Stevie. And it's going to, that's why if you don't get the players in that you need in time, some of the players that we've been watching already this year will probably start in that qualifier because you'll have no option. But it's going to be tight to get them in, moulded, get them into pre-season, and then hopefully think that they're just going to go out and fire straight away. Big ask.
Aye, it's no domestic games, domestic games you're hoping you get enough in the tank. Well, we've seen how difficult some of them can play. You don't know the quality you're going to be up against. And having your team gelled is a big factor, Stevie.
Aye. Ox, can you carry on now, mate?
Aye, they were. I'm good at carrying on. Southside. Aye, listen, mate, if we go back a minute, we bang this drum. We're not just doing that because Stevie's on Southside, but however, it's about recruitment, getting the right players in at the right price, and it's really critical, and it's critical because they get such big salaries. If they're not successful, it blocks you from bringing in other players, and you're stuck with them, mate. You're stuck with them, and that's the problem.
Aye, sometimes maybe that's why maybe should you sometimes look. Well, we've looked at Lyle Cameron, for instance, right? Forget his size and physicality, but we've looked at him and we've took him because they reckon he'd be a good addition to our squad. That was back in January, mind you, when Clement was here. Or is it a thing that Cotton was thinking, like you said before, we need to get more Scottish sort of players into our team as well? So, would you take Shankland? The boy Penrice, I like, I've seen him at Livingston, and he played centre back and left back, but I think he's played really well at Hearts.
We should have gone with Livingston, mate. That's the problem, mate. There's a bit of snobbery sometimes. Would I take Shankland? I've said it before, mate. I would have took Shankland in as my third choice striker, but I would have never have paid the millions and millions of pounds that Hearts wanted. Yeah, people will argue you should have done, and we could have won the league last season if he'd have come in the door. If we'd have signed him in January, his goals might have caught him, might have drove us on to the title. Yeah, possibly, but possibly not. Would I take him as your third striker, domestic striker, whatever you want to call him, mate? I think he would score goals, and he knows what the club's all about, mate. It's another one of our own in there. So that's not a bad thing in my opinion. But I think I would bring him in with a 2-year contract with a 1-year option for both parties. I wouldn't be going to give him a 4-year contract outside. Know at his age.
No, I said earlier, 2-year with a year option probably. I seen the boy Penrice. He wasn't bad at Livingston. Always hard to judge when you're only seeing them a few times when you're playing against you. But I think he's got better. He's got a good delivery. He's got a good engine. He's 25, I think, 26 maybe. He's got a good engine up and down. He's played well this year for Hearts. And I think when I look at what we've got there now, I think Yefty's the only one that's it'll give him competition, because I think he'll be there. I know we're getting Robbie Fraser back, and it'll be up to him to push on, which, if he does, fair enough. But I think Penrice has been really good. And the other boy I kept saying to you, although we're linked to him, but I don't know whether it'll happen, was the boy I said to you, Dundee, before. The boy Josh Mulligan, I think it is, isn't it? Every time I seen him, I think he played really good against us, and he was physical, and he's out of contract, and he's only 22.
Aye, mate. You've got to think out the box sometimes. While you for cash, you bring two players in with potential. I mean, I'm not saying that's what we're honest now. I think we need winners. I get Stevie's point. We need more physicality. We've got a guy running about the park having to tackle everything and got up for headers at the same time. Nico Raskin, mate. If I could, the first thing I would do is extend his contract by a year minimum. At this point in time, obviously, he'd be in looking for a wage rise as well. But to me, it makes sense now. He's moving into last year his contract. The ball's in his court. Steve, Southside.
What player did you say? Sorry, I never caught you. What land's moving into the year last year?
Sorry, when I talked about you've got to get players that are moving into the last year of your contract and make sure you're not left for them, mate, yeah?
Aye.
Aye.
I think Suter's got an extra year left, but I think we'd opened contract talks with him. I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping Suter, because I don't think he's a bad player. Now, if he fights his way and puts on good performances and the new manager picks him and he plays well, fine. But if he's a backup, then I think he's a decent backup that can come in, because players will be rotated. And he's been here a while, and he knows what the club's about. He's prone to the odd mad moment at times, but on the whole, he can go a good run of games where he's pretty consistent. So I don't think he's one that I'd want to shove out the door. But it'll come up to the new manager. But I think we definitely need to go and get two other centre backs regardless of.
Aye. Can I ask you something on Shanklin, lads?
Yes.
Is he better than what we've got?
Pardon?
Is Shanklin better than what we've got?
Is he better? Aye. Potentially, but score more goals. Where he's a better football player than, say, Danilo, who's no attended for him. He's no an Igga man. He's unique. And then you'll get a decision to make on Dessers, mate. His play, his goal scoring. I mean, what would you do with Dessers, Stevie? What's your take on it?
I would keep him as a second striker. Shanklin would be my third striker, to be honest, if I could.
So can I say something then, right? Right.
Right.
What does Dessers do? What does Dessers do better than Shanklin would do as a number 9?
Well, he scored. Listen, he's very consistent.
I know what you're going to say, right? But what else does he do better?
Start scoring goals, isn't he?
Right, what else does he do better?
Listen, Southside, right? There's no two ways about it. See, when Big Dessers, he's got something to think about. When he's got time in the ball, he's got something to think. He's hopeless, right? See, when he doesn't think, he does some extraordinary stuff. He scores some great goals, and you're going, man, wow, where does that come from? Now, we have said that time and time again, he's an enigma. What's Shanklin done this year? I think Shanklin would be a better player with better players round about him. There's no two ways about that. I'll give you that. But I don't think he's any quicker. I don't think he's any better than what we've already got.
Tell you what, Shanklin is in the last year of his contract, right? All players maybe know. Hang me, I don't watch Hearts every week, right? They've been playing him in the number 10 position and stuff, and then they've put him back up front at the weekend. Critch's left, and whoever took charge put him back up as a striker, and he banged 2 goals in. I feel like his second goal he scored, it was a good goal. Slid. Don't see many strikers sliding in 6-yard box and hooked it right high into the roof of the net by the goalkeeper for his second goal. I think he scores goals. I think he holds the ball up. I think he's got good vision. All things Dessers can't do. He can header a ball, Dessers can't. He can bring players into play, Dessers doesn't generally. He's hopeless. Can he hold the ball up? I think Dessers is probably quicker at the moment, but I think if he took a stone off Shanklin, he'd be a bit quicker. Not the quickest, but I think he's more intelligent, he's more instinctive in the box, and I think gain the chance, because Dessers has proved it, which Shanklin hasn't, that he scored 40-odd goals in a Rangers jersey, and he's got maybe 16, 18 assists, Dessers. But I get all that, but I think if you give Shanklin the chance in a Rangers jersey, I think he'll score plenty of goals. If he gets as many chances as what Dessers forced him. And that's the only argument I've got on it. But he scored 28 goals and 31 goals for Hearts the season before. He's a goal scorer. He knows where the net is. He's more mature, and he's probably at the right age now to come. He knows the league, and I think he scores in a Rangers jersey.
Is it the right age to come in an ideal world? What is it, 29, 30, mate?
He's going on to 29. So, actually, we'd like to have got him earlier, I think, but we didn't. But the chance is now, we need a goal. Listen, we keep bringing in our foreigner, right? And fair enough, Ignaman has only played his first full season of football. He's had a purple patch. It's not to say he'll go out and be your number behind me. We'll need to go out and buy a striker. Now, we'll probably go out and buy a foreigner. He might have scored hundreds of goals in that league. It's not to say he'll do it in this league. Shanklin can score in this league. He's proved it. He's free of contract, but don't need to pay him a fortune. Probably 10 grand a week or something. And you'll get him. He'll come up the road and he'll play. And if he gets enough starts, in my opinion, take a stone away off, I think he'll bang goals in for us.
Interesting. You know, listen, you can't argue with Dessers' goal scoring record. You can argue about his ratio of chances, and you can argue about his play. When we signed him, I think that's 47 goals he's got in 2 seasons. I think anybody would take that after, particularly if you watch him at the start. I think the frustration for myself and thousands of others, Stevie, is his play, mate. You know, it's sometimes you're like, what is happening? What are you doing?
Listen,
and on Sunday, Stevie, I was disappointed in his work rate. I thought his work rate was poor.
Aye, I agree. His work rate was the great there against Celtic, but normally it is not too bad. I'll tell you what, Southside's right when he talks about Big Dessers no holding the ball up and bringing players in. That for me is a killer, especially in some of the European games where he's up there and he's jack. You're looking for him to hold the player off and bring players in. Listen, both players have got flaws in their games, but at least Big Dessers' record is proven. He's got, 40 goals in 2 seasons. So, listen, Ox, there's games there where Dessers should be taking the ball up the road with more of the time. You know, we do know many goals has Shanklin got this season.
I don't know, mate, but I could check it out if you want, mate.
I'll take a guess, because I think I heard the stat. I think he had 5 or something.
5 goals this season.
Now, I think he had 5 and he get 2 at the weekend. So
Dessers
imagine Dessers was scoring the Hearts jersey.
More than 5.
Aye, but the seasons before, trying to hit 28 and 31 for the Hearts team.
No, because they wouldn't be getting the same. Obviously, they wouldn't be getting the same supply, would they? So I get that. I get the fact that what you're saying is Shanklin and a Rangers team would probably score more goals than he does for Hearts because he's surrounded by better players. I get that. But Dessers has done it, if you know what I mean. It's there. You know what I mean? I mean, Dessers, he scored what this season? 24?
25.
25. Right, he scored 25. Your man that you're wanting to bring into the team scored 5. You're telling us he knows.
I know, but he's on the last. Listen, I don't watch Hearts every week, right? I just know that they said that he played him up front as the number 9, and he banged 2 goals in. And if you've seen the 2 goals he scored at the weekend, just typical Shanklin goals. And I just think he's at the right age, and we can give him a contract that'll no break the bank. And I believe in the Premier League, when we're playing him, when he plays him, when he wants to play him, he'll score goals. I get Dessers has done well, I agree with you. But for me, we need to get back to winning ways. And if a bid comes in for Dessers, I dare say everybody would be saying sell him. Nobody's saying, no, keep him, we'll make him a number 2 striker or a number 3 striker. It's sell him. We'll go and buy probably a foreign striker, no doubt. But if he doesn't hit the ground running, you need to have backup. you'll have Ignaman there, but if we want to have a number 9 through the middle that knows how to score goals in the league, then he's a no-brainer for me. But everybody will have their own opinion on it. But he certainly knows how to score in Scotland.
Well, listen, here's an argument then. Right, here's an argument for you. The boy Simon Murray scored what this season? Do you not think he would score more by Rangers with better players running about him then?
Simon Murray works hard.
Yeah,
He works hard, they get stuck in. But listen, if you say he was out of contract, right, and you wanted to buy him and you just wanted to play him in the league games, then if he's not costing you the world, then what's the matter with having 2 strikers that score goals in Scotland for 2 teams where you're playing them in your team for the league? But whether that will not happen, probably will not. But I don't see Simon Murray. Maybe a few years ago, maybe we could have looked at him, but we've always went down the foreign route. We go and get a striker. I mean, Lammers went and played striker in Holland. We never tried him. Beale never tried him. He had him as his number 10, the wonder kid, and never worked. But he went to Holland and scored goals for the number 9 position. Strikers they don't lose a knack of scoring goals. That's the one thing. And he's not been played as an out-and-out striker all season. I don't know if he's played every week or whatever, Shanklin, but goal scorers don't lose a knack of scoring goals. But if you're bringing somebody in for a foreign league and expecting to bang you in 20 to 25 goals, which Dessers has done, not in the league, but he's done it in overall competitions, it's a good return. And he probably should have had more, but Stevie, no, if you know and I know, if a bid comes in, £4 million or something for Dessers, the club would probably take it and you'd probably say, no bother.
Right. Well, listen, just one thing clear. I'm not wanting Simon Murray, but I'm just saying for argument's sake, you're talking about bringing Shanklin in, who scored 5 goals this season. The boy Simon Murray's took double that away easy, and he would be the same with better players running about him too. That's all I'm saying. But look, I'm looking further afield than Simon Murray and Shanklin. I'm hoping we're going to bring in somebody, a £5 million striker or something like that. I'm really hoping we're going to get something really, really decent. No, I mean, I'm not. I just think Simon Murray, Shanklin would be my third choice. Let's be honest, guys. We really need 4 strikers. See the way our players get injured every year. We really need 4 strikers.
I get that, but it depends what you've got. I mean, have we got 4 strikers? With Class and Danilo, see a striker?
Danilo, Igaman, and Big Dessers in it. That's your strikers.
The way we played Igaman, left and right, and maybe on the other striking position, at times I thought it's been criminals outside. Yeah.
I remember when it was it before Christmas? Or we remember when he played, come on, well, I think he fell in there, I don't know how it worked out, but remember we had Hadji slightly off the left, we had Danilo and Ignaman in there with Czerny, and we went on a wee run, scoring goals and stuff, and it was working well, and then he put Dessers back in the team, if you remember. But they sort of linked up well together at one point, but Danilo's another one that, I can maybe say he's not really had a chance. Maybe some of the games that were coming up, that he didn't trust him. Whether he gets any more game time or no, listen, he's got a bit of talent. You've seen wee flashes of Danilo, but nothing sustained. And whether he's here next season or no, I don't know. It'll be down to the manager. But we want a bit of physicality, a bit of pace and power in our team. You're talking about Danilo, you're talking about Raskin, you're talking about Lyle Cameron. You know, you've got Connor Barron that can get flung in there. They're not exactly all big players and physical type players. So we need to get that into our team, and it'll need to be up front, midfield and in defence. So that's what we think we need. It's what the manager will do. But we'll need to build a squad, don't we? So see, like Shanklin coming in for maybe 10 grand a week, maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but giving a chance, he'd like, I think, scores goals. So he's part of the squad. We need to build a squad. So, and some will know we fashionable players that we all know, but I'm not what you down the road of spending £4 and £5 million on a foreigner. We've seen it with Cifuentes and all that, and he comes in, he's box to box, he'll be the difference. Aye. And then we don't give our Scottish players that we're trying to bring through anywhere near these chances that might flourish after a season playing in a team and getting help to it. So we just get on the route of foreigners all the time, and some of them work and some of them don't. But when they don't work, they still get played every week because we've cost us money and they're on a wage. So we need to get it right. So we'll probably need to try and go for a bit more experienced players. Maybe like...
That's the Palace get the players for. Where do they get it? We need pace and power. Where does Crystal Palace get their players from? Is it Crystal Palace? I think they did so.
A big, strong, strapping team. Yeah.
Man. Pace, power. Just run all day, man. Right in about it. That's what we're wanting. That's what we're wanting.
Where are they, but they're better than the league.
Well, they came with, since I've got the new manager,
Fulham's like that, and all Fulham's got big power and pace in their team and all that. Wolves have got it. There's loads of teams down there that have got it.
I would say that Wolves are Crystal Palace are miles in front of that Tottenham Hotspur team, mate. Miles. Just putting it out there.
Aye. There's loads of teams further out there than them.
Sorry about that, Southside. Sorry about that. Aye, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We're going to debate players, and I get it. I mean, you know, there's guys. I've talked about the boy Goggett shown here in the past. I'm not saying sign him now, but he could have done a job for us. Particularly 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. There's been a snobbery sometimes in some of the players we've signed, and the wages were paid at the wrong time, Stevie, at the wrong time. I'm not saying we shouldn't sign players for A, B, and C, but you've got to get it right, mate.
Aye. Listen, we're bread and butter the Scottish League. Listen, we signed John Brown and guys like that for Dundee. You know what I mean? Natural novel. I mean, look at even Neil McCann, guys like that, Billy Dodds. Listen, it can work. We've not been doing it recently, but it can work. Yeah, it's just your Donald Duck. But I just think, low block, it's going to happen again next season. 10 men in your penalty box, try and catch us the break. We need a bit of pace and power. We need somebody that's going to attack a ball in a box when a ball comes there. How many times is it? I mean, the record for a corner kick. How many times did we score for corner kicks this season? We've done it twice or something, 3 times. That's shocking. Absolute shocking. Free kicks, corner kicks, we've scored 2 goals, 3 goals. By the way, that doesn't say a lot about your centre-halves. Because normally your centre-halves would score for corner kicks or whatever. Never mind your centre-forward. Listen, we need a bit of pace and power. We need boys that's not going to be bullied the way we've been bullied with St Mirren, some games St Johnstone, some games with Hibs, Aberdeen. We need guys with a mentality, pace and power and a mentality. I know it's going to be hard to get, and I'm not saying that you might find guys that you're not paying money for, and you might have to pay for some of them. All I'm saying is, guys, the Crystal Palace team, you get one of the big, powerful centre-forwards, with the amount of balls we're chipping into the boxes, the amount of stuff he's going to get put to him. You know, listen, I just think we've tried. I mean, Big Desert's his powder puff. He's not in people's faces. He never tackles anybody bad. He's not a dirty player. He's never up the elbows. He's just a nice guy, just the same as Tab's nice. Connor Bannon's too wee. All these guys, they're all nice. I mean, Diamondi. I mean, come on, man. He's got to run about in the shower to get wet. He's made of nothing. He's built of nothing. They're all too nice. We need power, man. Pace, power. No shackling.
Ozil sailing Diamondi is in Europe. He's one of our most filled players.
And that's because you get more time in the ball. It's because
he's driving forward, but Stevie with the ball, he breaks it up and he drives forward.
Right. Because these, see the European teams in the Europa League, they want to play football. They've not got 3 or 4 Celtic men in their team would just want to go out and boot you up at park, fight, die, line, scratch, do the dark arts. These guys are out to play football against you. And that's how we have been doing good in Europe. Is there any other reason why you can think why we're doing so good in Europe and no good in the Premier League? That's how you're getting a chance to play football in Europe. Because we're a bunch of nice guys, but our boys are up for the fight back home. No chance of it outside. No chance of it. They don't want to know. I mean, I watched that boy with a blonde hair at St Mirren. He was in about 3 different Rangers players' faces, and not one of them had the gumption to grab a hold of him and say, who are you talking to? Or get in his face and say to him, what are you talking about?
I'll tell you another thing, mate. The tackle on Raskin, the start of the game, potential red, don't maybe know quite, but minimum yellow. Didn't matter how early in the game it was, mate. Right
How many Rangers players went out to grab him? How many Rangers players were in his face telling him he's bang out of order for the tackle? None. None of them can hear. Half the time you're looking for your captain when there is a fight. That's a very minimum. If there is a wee bit of handbags, you're going, where's your captain? I'm telling you, listen, we've got to get tougher. We've got to get more pace. Power and pace is what we need. Shanklin, definitely no. No pace. And I don't think he's any better than what we've got. Suter, no pace. Balogun, no pace. 2 all gone. But Tav, no pace. He's losing a yard every year. He should have been away last year, never mind this year. And we're going to suffer him again this year coming. Instead of just saying, no, now's the time for no sentiment. We need to get a deal of these guys. So I'm just hoping new era, guy comes in, he's ruthless, and we bring in a bit of power and pace. I'm not saying he's got to get rid of all that squad right away. There is guys there you've got to keep, your Diamandis, your Raskins, guys like that. Even though I don't think Diamandi's tough enough, he's still a good football player, and and I think he will get better. But it's not going to happen overnight. I get that, but we need power and pace. No Shanklin, too slow, scored 5 goals. All this. He's no better than what we've got. He's no better than in the big unit scored 24 goals this season.
It's going to be interesting, Southside.
We need to do something different. We don't agree with what we've been doing. What we've been doing, we've not been winning it. We never won it this season with what we've been doing. We need to do something different. And the something different is stop buying projects, young boys that, let's be honest, McCausland, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make guys like that. They're not going to make it. I would rather have a big bulky boy in there who's going to fight and fling it about than McCausland. I'm sorry, it's just, we need to think out the box now, guys. We really need to do. We need to try something different. This is a year. This is the dawn of a new era. We've got a new manager going to come in. He's got a wee pot of money. We need to buy power and pace, guys. That's just my opinion.
But it's hard, mate. It's hard because what I'm saying is you can sign anybody, but it's getting the price right. Southside.
Aye, it's down to price, obviously, in players, and if we don't want to keep buying players, we probably will get players on freedom of contract. Might even get a loan player in, I don't know, but I always like to try and buy the players. If we've got targets that we maybe had in the past that fit a style, and I think maybe once we've got a philosophy about what way we're going, then you go and get the players. If you're playing 2 attackers up front, then you'll go and get yourself 2 strikers. If you're going to play with wingers, then you'll need to get creative wingers. We need to get goals for midfield. That's another issue in our team. We don't score enough goals. Our midfielders on that part don't contribute enough, anywhere near enough. So we need to get that record up. Arfield used to do it, no bother. Wasn't the most skillful player, but he was a workhorse in there. He had attributes. So it's not always a glamour player. We need the big 6'5" guy. Maybe somebody like Lyle Cameron, given a chance, could be that type of player that might get yourself ghosting in the box and get yourself on scoring goals, because he's done it at Dundee. We don't know until we see if he fits into a team and a system. But our home midfield, Raskin of late started to get in sort of score, but Connor Barron, Raskin, Diamondi, the three of them this year have been nowhere near enough goals for us for midfield.
I don't even know if Connor Barnes had an effort on target, mate.
They should have had one at Parkhead, and he hit it by the post, mind at Parkhead.
Shocking effort, wasn't it?
It was like a wee schoolboy, and no power, no direction, no nothing. It was woeful, absolute woeful it was. If you can remember the effort I'm talking about. Second half.
Aye, broke to him just inside the penalty box.
Correct. It was woeful, Southside, wasn't it? I totally agree.
Aye.
The midfield's no contributing to our goals tally, I know. You're
Listen,
totally
at St Mirren's Grun, as usual, when they were taking the shots for 18-yard box into the goals, man, there was Merger in the stone behind us rather than his own target, you know, and you're like, what is happening here? A few of them went in the goal and made a couple of saves, but honestly, there was at least 6 or 7 flying into that stone behind us. And it's like that on a daily, it's been like that on a weekly basis watching them. And I mean, Diamondi scored a good one against Dundee United up there. But how many goals has he scored? Or had shots at goal? He's got one in Europe, good goal, chased the ball in the box and done what he done, looked at the goalie. But on the whole, Diamondi is a player that should be, I'd be expecting from him to hit about 8 to 10 goals in a season for us. I don't think it's a lot to ask for.
Fair, mate. I think that's fair. But as we sit this now, they're never going to score goals, mate, in the midfield because they play that deep and that far away for the play, mate. You know, so there has to be a change, you know. Yeah, if you're expecting them to score goals, you can't have them playing next to the centre halves constantly. Stevie?
I totally agree. Listen, Southside, you're totally 150%. I've been spitting blood about it. All the East End of the city, all their midfielders all contribute, ours don't. And see, I don't know how many times I've said this season. How many times we've crossed that ball and I'm going, where's the Rangers players? Where's the midfielders? They must try and contribute. They must try and get in there, have a dig for the 18-yard box. See that, try to walk the ball into the net and all when they should be shooting. Their choice making is a disgrace as well. But look, you're totally right. Our midfielders are not contributing whatsoever at all. And I don't know what you do there. I really don't. We've got the best training facility in one of the best training facilities in Europe. What are we doing there? We can't score for corners. Our midfield can't score. Tav's the only guy who can hit a free kick. Come on, apart from Hadji, maybe an odd one now and again. But what are we doing? What are we actually learning in the training ground? How do we not put men at the back post? No, just simple things. I get back there. I don't know how many times I've seen Stephen Davis clearing balls off a line. No, we don't see it at all.
Aye. And we lost a goal because of a tactic, mate. We lost a goal there because people were standing offside, trying to move the defenders instead of. And when it came to it, Nico Raskin went and won the header clean against their defenders. So there was no need for it. It was a poor tactic. So sometimes the management team's got to take responsibility. Sometimes the players have been absolutely downright awful watching them. You know, so they've got to stop getting a free pass sometimes because they do collectively as mad as it's always the manager that gets the blame when it's outside.
Aye. And when players are not following instruction, as we've heard that they don't sometimes, then what else can you do? So that you take them off and you change it. But as it is, as a collective, when they're bad, they're usually all bad. There's never usually a time you can say, well, he was all right and he done well, he tried. No, it's usually they're all bad. You know, then you might get a reaction in the second half because we don't seem to have that 90-minute performance in the league. And it's, as I keep saying, when you play the big games in Europe on the Thursday night, sometimes we've had 12 o'clock kick-offs on the Sunday. We've travelled back, we've had the game against Tottenham at Ibrox where for the players like Ignaman, like Jeffrey, for 2 instances that are going on there, young boys never played at that level or that magnitude, everything it takes in the game. And then you come back and you've got to be up for it at 12 o'clock against a St Johnstone or a St Mirren or whatever it is. And they've got to find that level again, and that's when a lot of the players, haven't they, Diamondi included, Raskin even poor in the games. So that's it needs to get better. They need to be able to get themselves up, grind a result out somehow. Maybe that's how you need these big squads, you know, and you maybe need to fling a Shankland in that game on the Sunday when you know that he's not played on the Thursday night in Europe, and you maybe with a guy will get you goals, or anybody else round about the Scottish League that we pick up that we think can add to the squad, because you need to have a bit of, it's not always about the glamour striker that we need to buy, it might score you 30 goals a season. It's about winning these games when you come back. They're the harder games to win, and we can't grind them out as it's shown. There's just not got a squad good enough to grind them out. So it needs help and it needs to be rebuilt, but it'll not get built in one transfer window. So that's what we know. So for the players that will be in that squad going forward next season that are there this year, they need to make sure that Barry and the rest of them have told them about the standards, about playing for the club and what it means and what you're up against, because you should know it by now. Hopefully they'll carry that forward. If anything, they'll take that with them going forward and maybe help the rest of the players that come in and install that. You've got to get a machine up and running and winning. And at the moment, we've not got that.
Easier.
Aye, of course it does.
Well, gentlemen, well, we've done it. We've got another night under our belt. Can I just say to all the listeners, thanks very much for sticking with us tonight. We're working hard to get the phone lines back and running as they were before, mate. This new platform is potentially showing a wee bit of stickiness, but I'm sure our top technical guys are on the case and we'll get a resolution, because after all, Rangers Radio platform is a foreign show. But last word to your good self, Big Stevie.
Listen, brilliant. Love talking about the club I love, especially with Southside and your Selhawks. Good bears. You know, there's exciting times ahead. There really is. I mean, I just love debating Rangers. I mean, that's all you think about. It's your, no, when they get beat, it's a death in the family. When they win, you're so high with your wee family. You want to go out meals and enjoy it. It's brilliant. It makes or breaks your weekend. Love talking about them. Good times ahead. Thanks for having us on this platform. Brilliant platform. Thanks to all the listeners on Facebook and YouTube for listening in. And can I just say to Fox, if he's ever looking for a taxi, he knows where Big Steve is, okay?
All right, you can take that packet with you, yeah?
Thanks, well, by the way, they were delicious. Marks and Spencer's, here we come.
He's easily got Southside.
I forgot about St Michael now, hasn't he?
But I call it back Christmas tree. He doesn't care when it comes with.
Aye. No, good night as always. It's always good to be with the big game, my big mucker, and yourself on a Wednesday. Talking about the club we all love. It's always the same, isn't it? Eat, sleep, Rangers, repeat, innit? That's what it's always like. But aye, hopefully we'll get callers in soon once things get restored and things can happen. But aye, looking forward to it. A good summer. Hopefully we'll see a lot of activity, players in and out, and hopefully the players that go out will be happy to see go, and hopefully the ones that come in will maybe, some will maybe excite us as well, maybe know some of them by names and they've done something, played at a level that we didn't maybe think we'd get and have come into the club. So things to look forward to, mate. So as always, there's only one team and one crown. Thanks for having us on.
As always, mate, as always. Listen, I want to thank the two boys in the background, Old School Blue and Our Fox, working hard to make sure this platform is all sorted. It's difficult because it's a hobby. It's a hobby, and I want to doff my hat to both the guys. But also thanks to Southside and Big Stevie for taking the time to join us here on Rangers Radio. Always a pleasure. Good to catch up with the two biggins at the weekend, and Albert as well, the Fox, and of course Big Dorothy with the red shoes on. Thanks to everybody for listening.
That's right, Dorothy. Oh, brilliant.
It must have been. Oh, it might have been you.
Can I just say something, by the way? We must have tanned some amount of tequila rose, by the way, didn't we? Off. I must have drank a bottle myself.
No comment. No comment. I think you've been very modest when you think it was only a bottle, mate. Listen, thanks to you two gentlemen. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to, again, Fox and Old School Blue. But Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. And hopefully we'll get another one of this puzzle solved in my new platform. And we can start getting callers in. But thanks for listening. Take it away, Old School Blue.